If you don't know, an anime called The Magician's Bride, or The Ancient Manga's Bride, either way you want to call it, ended. Well, season 2, part 2 ended of the fall of anime 2023. And after that, the manga finally came back. But however, the manga translations was being created by AI translations, or AI assist, some might say. And there's been a lot of mixed feelings about this, especially with AI as a very touchy subject of the times. I remember when I was growing up, it was Photoshop. Saying Photoshop would take people's jobs, or even the camera before that was going to take people's jobs, and which it did, but it created more jobs in the process. Anyways, a lot of people are very touchy about AI. Hell, a freaking YouTuber I follow blocked me because I said that this is going to be a thing, and the best you can do is learn to adapt to it because it's going to happen whether you like it or not. That's just the progression of technology, unfortunately, and a lot of people can't accept that, which is sad. Yes, it's terrifying. It will lose your job, but that's just how it is. But the main part is that it seems like when it comes to localizations, like localizers, people don't seem to care. They really don't. They're really happy about this because, as you know, in the West, it is run by people with a certain ideology where they like to change things to their own viewpoint or ideals. And because of that, it's ticked off a lot of people throughout the years. And you could say they are probably mistranslating it incorrectly. They are, but they're doing it on purpose, to a point where they would go onto social media and even brag about their wrongdoings. So you can tell they're doing this on purpose, and they don't care. And even when you try to get clear answers out of them, the main thing they'll run to is, oh, it's because I'm a female, and that's the reason why you're angry about it. One of the most used things is Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, known by one of the most infamous YouTubers, Jamie Markey, the ones who went after Vic Mignogna, and you know that entire crazy situation. And you know how people feel about her. And anyways, she's been going on a storm on Twitter trying to go against and defend the localization ideals of anime and manga. And a lot of people have been getting fed up with it. It is not just us in the West, but also in Japan as well. A lot of them are getting sick and tired of it too. Even creators went out and said, "You misinterpreted my work, and I don't like you did that." And they still went with it anyways because their ideology is triumphs over the creator's own work. So in a way, it's just an entire big mess, and it's not just anime, mangas, video games, and other things where it's being taken over, and a lot of people don't like it. They're just tired of it. It's annoying. No one likes the ideology. Well, most people don't, anyways. And so that this is happening, a lot of people don't seem to care. In fact, they're celebrating it. A lot of localizers who are very vocal on social media went into it and tried to go against it, saying, "Hey, this is wrong." They're disappointed. Well, customers or ex-customers are saying, "We don't care. You get what you deserve." And what I see from this is what happens when you think you won't receive repercussions for your actions, is what I see from this. There's a lot of viewpoints I can attack this from, but this is the first one I want to go with when it comes to localizers. When you were at a point where you feel like you could do whatever you want, and even if the people don't like it, and you just mock them for it, most of the time they'll have this cocky aura about them, where like, what are you gonna do about it? We're coming in, we can do whatever we want. There's nothing you can do about it, and they feel like there's no one can touch them. It happens in comic books, it happens in video games, and of course, it happens in anime and manga. But as usual, not everything is forever. Things come to an end through some sort of change, and this change is through the AI assist localization creation. And because of that, it's freaking them out. Like, oh, we could lose our jobs for this. And the reason why no one cares is because it's what happens when you treat your customers like garbage. You know, When you treat them like garbage, they're not going to care what happens to you. And some will come up with the excuse saying, oh, but there are good people within the company, and you might be right. But here's the thing. When you have a couple of bad apples in a batch, most people don't want to go near that batch. They immediately throw it out. So if you know you have a couple of bad apples in your batch, I guess some will say it would be your responsibility to call them out on it. And if you don't, well, it continues to poison the entire batch of apples, and people will come look at it and says, ugh, I don't want this. I don't want nothing to do with this, so I'm just gonna just throw it out or go on to something else. And that's what happens. It happens in restaurants, it happens in stores, it happens in companies. If people see nothing but the bad in your company, in your business, they're going to go away. They're going to wish it was destroyed, whether you have good things in there or not. That's just how it happens, man. And if you don't call it out, something bad's gonna happen. You can't just sit there and just let it slide by. It's just like with the writer's strike going on in Hollywood. A lot of people did not care about the writer's strikes that was going on because the terrible stuff that keeps coming out of Hollywood, whether it's through TVs and movies, in streaming services, people do not care. In fact, we're like, oh, you get what you deserve because you spewed so much nonsense. And some will say, well, there's good writers, people who don't cause controversy. Yes, but once again, all people see is the bad. All they see is terrible things are happening, and so they want to get rid of it no matter the cost. And that's just how it is in all kinds of things. If you go to a store and you see nothing but bad customer service, you don't want to go back to that store. Well, there's some good workers. Well, you don't see those good workers. Those good workers aren't calling out the bad workers. They're just letting them do whatever they want. And no one wants to keep going back to that. And plus, that'll put more strain on the good workers. So more people go look for the good workers. The good workers will be overburied because they have to do their own work. Same thing over a restaurant, you know. Oh, they keep delivering bad food. Yeah, but there's waiters and stuff. Well, I don't want to keep eating bad food. Why do I have to keep giving my money to people who keep giving me bad service? See how it works? So a lot of people, in the day, just don't care. So the AI thing. Now let's go on to the AI. And I said in the beginning of the video, AI is a new tool. And a lot of people say, "Oh, it's going to replace our jobs and stuff," and you know what? That is true. That's true. A lot of people, you can tell who are scared on the internet because they'll try to make fun of it every time someone posts an AI art. They will be like, "Look at it. This is ridiculous. There's no soul to it," and people will use that excuse if there's no soul to it. That doesn't matter. There are a lot of things throughout history, through generations now, for years, a lot of soulless stuff been coming out. But people like it anyways. The masses love it. Whether you feel it's soulless or not. It does not matter. I know this is hard to hear. And I see a lot of people I follow who, every time you see some AI art, whether it's a video or it's art, they like to make fun of it, poke fun of it. Oh man, look at this. And I'm like, looking from an outsider's perspective, I do see the flaws in some of these arts. But looking from an outsider's perspective, thinking about it, is like, you'll show the picture to somebody else and no one sees nothing wrong with it. They're like, wow, this looks nice. It looks really good. So they can keep making the same copy and use the same, well, it's being used by other artworks. It don't matter. They don't care. The normies, the masses, do not care. If they see it looks appealing, it looks nice, it looks good, they're like, oh, I like this. Oh, yeah, I'll watch this. I'll read this. I'll play this. It doesn't matter to them. As long as they get a good product and they really spend their money on it, that's what's going to happen. And that's what these businesses are seeing. This will cut out costs, meaning no more workers complaining about this or that. And despite workers should be treated well, especially if they're good workers, um, the businesses are like, things are getting more expensive, so we got to cut back. We gotta make sure we cut more people off the team. Like look at fast food places. Fast food places prices for the wages went up, which some people see as a good thing, but however, it's a bad thing because a lot of jobs were cut at the same time. So yeah, people got that raise, but only very few of them now stay, and now they're overburied with work as well. Now more stress. You get paid more, which is good, but now you have more responsibilities and more things that are piling up on you, which really suck. So they like, let's just use a machine. Let's use a machine to take the orders. And they can pay their thing there and hold their ticket. And all they gotta do is make the food. But then the food you mess up, things are missing, not everything's there, or someone did something disgusting. Okay, so the humans still are annoying. So let's get rid of the humans someday. We're working on it. Let's make a machine that can flip burgers and put it all together. Because why not? You know, some people are just tired of the humans. And like I said, when you have some bad apples in a batch, all people want to see is the bad apples. You can't believe the amount of time people complain about restaurants saying, "Oh, this is terrible. Customer service is terrible. The food is terrible. They're always messing up my order. Something's always missing. They did something nasty to my order. A hair, spit, tooth, some blood, whatever." People are like, "Okay, I don't like this." So like, okay, we're losing money because the customers aren't going to come back, or they want a refund. So what they're going to do? They're going to want to replace them with something that will follow orders, that won't be spiteful, something that no matter how angry the customer gets, they can't yell at the machine. The machine is just a machine. So it's just like, okay, next order, emotionless. And that sucks. But that's what they see. They see dollar signs and that and stuff. And the age of progression is this. It's not just the age of progression, but things always progress since the beginning of time. Our tools always advance. And when the tools advance, you must work with the tools. I remember playing Bioshock, and I remember the scene from Dr. Simon. He was talking about how the tools advance, how he was okay with a nip and tuck of a chin and nose or getting rid of a mold. But when the tools advance, you have higher expectations now. Things change. He had to adapt to the game in Rapture, which Bioshock's an amazing game. If you haven't played it, you should go play it. It's like dirt cheap now on Steam and stuff. But anyways, he was talking about the advancement of your tools and stuff. And yes, it will lose people jobs. People are losing a lot of jobs in Rapture because the advancement of technology. You know, I remember also watching another movie, The Shape of Water, and the female protagonist had a friend who was a painter. He would create art for posters and billboards and flyers and stuff. He was a contractor, he'd take on jobs. He was really good at it. But however, um, the camera came out or something. I forgot what it was, but a device came out, and it's like this is much easier. I don't have to wait so long. I don't have to deal with the customers' complaints. This is a lot easier to get out than your stuff. So he lost that client, and he realizes that he's losing his job because his skills are seeming irrelevant for some areas. So he was sitting home wallowing in his own pity. But what he should have done is learn about these new tools and make them work for himself. Because in every age, there's always new tools that are given to people to advance their work. You know, imagine if we were in horses all day. We just riding horses. People would raise horses for people to ride, and carriages and stuff, wagons, caravans. But now you have the car. Now that you have the car, people don't need to rely on horses. So the horse riding business was dead. And I'm pretty sure they were complaining about it too. But that's just how it happened. Just like during the Civil War, the self-employed plantations and innovative workers against the big industry that was rising in. That was one reason why for the Civil War. The South didn't want the industries to take over, but they did. So now you have factories that people want to go work for instead of working on fields and working for other people. They're working for big businesses instead. That's one way to take it. Okay, how about the telephone? Telephone was a thing, main business lines, collect calls, CELATT, those commercials, they are replaced by cell phones. Cell phones, everyone thought, oh, there's no way cell phones are, they're too big, they're so inconvenient. Now everyone's going to have a cell phone. Everyone has a cell phone now. Same thing with TV. No one thought everyone's going to have a TV. A lot of these things people looked down on because they knew it would take their job and they made fun of it. But as time went on, those technology became prominent to us. Now, did they? And a lot of jobs were lost. But at the same time, more jobs were created by those who learned to adapt to those tools. Even with business, look at Blockbuster. Blockbuster, rent a video. I love renting videos because you could go there and you could look up games you never thought you would get. And I do miss that kind of style of doing things because when you're watching through Netflix or whatever streaming service, you're not sure what you want to watch, even with the commercials not being that appealing. But with Video Hut or other blockbusters, you can go into a blockbuster and stuff. Not only you have yourself a snack and stuff, but you can also look at all the things you never thought you would watch. You know, the covers were appealing. Read the synopsis on the back and stuff, and you'll see a trailer up on the corner of the wall telling you what's coming out and what's hot. You know, I miss those days, even with video games. But that's gone. That's all gone thanks to streaming services. And a lot of people lost their jobs, but then more jobs were created in the process. You know, this age progression of your tools has always happened since the beginning of time. And the thing you can do, the best thing you can do is advance. Advance with your tools. Adapt or die. That's all I can say about it. And unfortunately, I had people on social media, because I pointed this out, block me for it. You know, just block me for it because they just didn't want to hear it. You know, they didn't like the idea. You know, it's ridiculous. You know, to rely on this tool like it easily draws off, and there's even apps about it already. People can even do voiceovers and stuff, and I know it's scary, but that's the future. That's the future, whether you like it or not, man. And these businesses that take that role of this world are going to make sure it happens no matter what. So you can stop your feet, block people, make fun of them. It's coming. And if you're going to just sit there and do that all day, well, you'll be swept away and you got to look for a new job. That's just how it is, people. You got to learn to adapt with your tools. If you don't learn to adapt with your tools, you're going to have to find a new line of work and stuff. And as the journalists used to tell the people who lost their jobs in the coal mines, you can always learn the code. And then they lost their jobs, and then they got a little hurt when they told them to learn the code, too. The hilarious irony of that, don't you think? You know? But, yeah. I feel like this was a part of the video, and a video I've always wanted to get on to. I thought I was going to lean more into the localization part, which I did in the beginning, but mainly with the talk of AI. That's more important in my opinion, and a lot of people need to understand that. A lot of people are going to dislike this video or probably not going to see it at all, but you can take it or leave it, but that's just the truth that you must accept, you know? AI is coming in, baby. And what you gonna do about it? What you gonna do? Photoshop came in, Clip Studio came in, and now everyone can become a comic book artist, a webtoonist, a manga creator, and stuff. People can animate and stuff. No one needs these big studios or mainline comic book companies to do their things. YouTube came along. Now everyone doesn't always need Hollywood to become famous. People can become famous themselves. They can make their own TV shows. They can, of course, add apocalypse and doing all that copyrights and strikes ruins that chance for some people, but it's still a possibility. People will find a way now these days. Progression will make people irrelevant and make new things relevant. Out of the old and into the new. No matter how good that old was, it can't stay there forever. That's just how it is. I'm sorry. Not really. But anyway, so that's like this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell icon. This has been the Madcrown on Anime. Signing out.